The project. At school, we were doing a project. You know the kind of thing. The Vikings. Transport. Our project was Holland. There we were reading my hands, and we made windmills and stuck blue strips of paper onto blue strips of paper onto blue strips of paper onto white strips of paper. They were canals. And we kept talking about tulips and cheese. In the end, I thought they grew cheese and ate tulips. Then suddenly one day, our teacher, Miss Good Lord, he can talk, said there was an inspector coming in. And we were all to help her by being really good. I think you know what I mean. Later that day he came in, he had a moustache, we behaved, Miss Goodall behaved, there we all were, sitting in our rows, behind our desks, breathing very, very quietly. No breathing! And he looked at our windmills. And then our canals. And he said, what do they eat in Holland? And I put my hand up in case I said tulips. But Sheila McLean said cheese. And he said, what do they grow in Holland? And I put my hand up for that one either. But Margot Vane said tulips. And he asked some more questions and we were doing really well. Miss Goodall was trying very hard not to look proud. And then he asked, who is the Queen of Holland? There was silence. No one knew who was the Queen of Holland. Miss Goodall frowned and then started looking all round the class with her eyes looking all hoping. And then suddenly I remembered this funny little rhyme that my friend Haribo used to say. I put up my hand. Yes, said the inspector, Queen Juliana is a fat banana. I said, Miss Goodall looked awful. Out, school prison. Miss, I've been up here for 3 weeks and there's rats and they're nibbling my toenails, miss. Haribo was sitting in front of me and I saw him snort and start giggling. Sorry, what did you say? Said the inspector. Queen Juliana is a fat banana. I said, you're right, quite right. Miss Goodall was delighted, I was delighted, the inspector was delighted, and Haribo was still snorting away like mad. The Seafoogle. There was a man who turned up round our way once, put up a tent in the park he did, put notices all round the street saying that he was going to put on show a terrifying creature called the Seafoogle. No one had ever seen this thing before. The show was on for 2 o'clock the next day. Next day we all turned up to see the fiercest animal in the Holland. The man took the money at the door. We all poured into the tent with a curtain in front of it. We all sat down and waited. The man went off behind the curtain. Suddenly we all heard a terrible noise. His eyes pop out. He flaps his hands. He blows, he puffs, he yells, he bobs his head up and down. He spits a potato all over his plate. Suddenly the man came running onto the stage in front of the curtains. All his clothes were torn. There was blood on his face and he screamed, quick, get out of here. The Seafoogle has escaped. We all got up and ran out the door and got away as fast as we could. By the time we got ourselves together, the man had gone. We never saw him again. None of us ever saw our money ever again either. And none of us has ever seen the Seafoogle.